When you think of Sweden, you probably imagine a group of blonde bombshells holding IKEA bags while they produce the number one hits of our time. But I want to let you know that a country is not just the sensational stories written about it. And I want to make an argument as to why perhaps this is a country that you don't want to go to. So in this video, I'm going to be giving my top 10 reasons to never move to Sweden. Number 10, laundry. The act of doing your laundry in Sweden is incredibly important. In an apartment building there, the laundry room is completely free, but you have to reserve a space in order to use it. You can reserve a space online or in person. These reservations are strictly adhered to, and there are plenty of unspoken and spoken rules regarding the correct way to do your laundry. So to me, it seems like the act of doing your laundry is akin to getting a reservation at the hottest club in Los Angeles, or getting a reservation at Nobu. You walk up in the club and you look in the back, and the girls are looking good in the back at the laundromat, and the D-boys and the ballers are in the back, and you're in the middle, and you're throwing quarters. Number 9, government-controlled alcohol. So let's just say you're in Sweden and you're on a night out with your buddies. Your buddy just got discharged from the hospital after getting mauled by a Swedish grizzly bear, and you want to celebrate. If you want to buy anything alcoholic with more alcohol by volume than an Amstel Light, you'll have to go to the government. All alcoholic beverages that are over 3.5% can only be sold at the government-controlled liquor store called Systembolaget, which is crazy considering the fact that in the US I could buy any quantity of anything I want at the most random stores. I could go to Walmart right now and buy a gun, booze, Bible, and Cool Ranch Doritos all in one trip. Number 8, food is bad/weird. If you're ever looking to get into weapons manufacturing, I have the perfect thing for you. Weird fish dishes, particularly one called lutefisk. Lutefisk is a rehydrated, gelatinous frankenfish dish that's preserved in lye. I'm pretty sure that when scientists managed to split the atom, the very atom that they split came from a plate of lutefisk. Number 7, cashless society. Sweden is on track to be the first country in the world that's fully cashless. You won't find paper money nearly anywhere, and you'll have to make sure that you bring your credit card. And a cashless society sounds clean, but here's my concern. How will I buy drugs? And to that you might say, well, we'll make the drugs legal, so you'll be buying those legal drugs online. But I don't want the legal drugs. I want the illegal ones that only an Algerian immigrant without papers can sell to me. Number 6, Jantelagen. Jantelagen is an informal code of conduct followed in many Nordic countries that affects the way individuals perceive themselves in comparison with the wider group. Essentially, you're not supposed to think or act as if you're better than anyone else. Small things like talking about how much money you make can be a huge taboo. It can be seen as bragging. And I don't really jive with that. I don't really feel like talking about how much money I make all the time, but if I come into some money, some people are going to know about it. If I was rich, I would take out an ad in the New York Times saying, to all my teachers from elementary school, middle school, and high school, guess who became rich? Cameron Smith. Number 5, Swedes don't feed house guests. There was a moment on Twitter about a year ago where the world found out in a very grand way that Swedish people culturally don't feed their house guests. So imagine growing up as a Swedish person and you're with your friend Mikhail, and out of nowhere when you're hanging out, Mikhail just ducks out of the room and has dinner with his family. And you poke your head out of the room like Oliver Twist, trying to get a bite of their fishy Sunday night food, and the father or mother says, hey, stick your head back in that room, Mikhail will be back from dinner shortly. Number 4, high taxes. Nordic countries are known for their high taxes and generous welfare state, and Sweden is no different. The high taxes in Nordic countries just kind of frustrate me because it makes me think of all the money I've given away in taxes to the US government, to the state of California, the state of Maryland, the state of Illinois over the course of my lifetime. I'm done at this point, and I just want my money back now. I don't care if my money is used for things like roads and sewage systems and infrastructure. It's not even that difficult to create your own sewage system, right? To create your own sewage system, you just need to use aqueducts to propel the water forward to the target destination using kinetic energy. I can make my own sewage system. I just want all that tax money that I've given over the course of my life back now. Number 3, baby naming laws. The naming law in Sweden is a Swedish law that requires the approval of a government agency for names to be given to Swedish children. The parents must submit that name to the government 3 months prior to the child's birth. So let's say you had 11 kids by 4 different mothers, and you wanted to name each of those kids after a different phase of the moon. You wanted to name the first one Crescent, the second one Harvest, the third one Waning Gibbous, and so forth. In Sweden, you wouldn't be able to do that. And to me, that sounds un-American. Number 2, long and dark winters. Being so far up north, living in Sweden, you could expect to experience some brutal and some long winters. And I think after a certain point, being in a dark winter, you start to see Bigfoot. That's something that we don't really experience in the US because, at least in the contiguous US, the winters aren't that long. But when you get longer, you start to get paranoid. You start to see things. You start to see things like Bigfoot. And I think that's where a lot of the myths and legends come from in Nordic countries like Sweden. Because you have to be in a 6-month winter in order to start hallucinating blonde dudes with hammers in the sky. And the number one final reason why you should never move to Sweden: Russia. Sweden is too close to Mother Russia, bro. Growing up in the US, we're not used to being so close to a war-torn country, but growing up in Europe, especially being in Sweden, you're a hop skip away from one of the most aggressive countries of our time. And to me, that's just a very precarious way to live. And I have no joke on the subject, this is just real life. Anyway, those are the top 10 reasons to never move to Sweden.